There are so many FNAF fan games coming out at the end of this year, or for next year. It's become more apparent than ever that over the course of these years, we have gotten more developers wanting to be a part of this community as for this franchise's new decade. And it's understandable. Many of these projects I'll be going over this video I know for a fact will reach the mainstream like it's no tomorrow. There are two in particular that I'll bring up that I know will become instant classics. And regardless if the final product may not reach your expectation, we can't deny that their influence will stick until the rest of time. Not that I want these games to turn out bad, I'm really looking forward to all of these games when they come out. I'm not going to list which of these games I'm going to be looking forward to the most, nor I'm going to be numbering them, as there's so many of them on here that I think would drag this video longer than it needs to. So without further ado, let's talk about these lads, shall we? I'm sure everyone by now has heard of Night Stars, right? Well, for those who don't, this game will serve as a sequel to Night Stars. For all these games, I'm going to be going over their setting and then the gameplay aspect. You, as Jamie, as a paranormal journalist, are writing a set of articles for a lot of haunted locations. And one of the haunted locations you managed to stumble upon is Deerwood, a small diner in the woods. And it's been rumored to be haunted after its owner's passing. And it's up to us to risk our lives to investigate if the rumors have been true. Now for how the game will actually play. In contrast to the first game where it only had one night, this game will bring back 5 nights. The game will be both task and time-based, with an additional hard mode and a small set of side quests for anyone looking to revisit the game for potential secrets and Easter eggs. There will also be collectibles which will be unlocked through the side quests, and cutscenes to further expand on the lore for this game. I'll be honest, I don't know how to feel about this game being both task and time-based. The only way I could see this approach working is if you're guaranteed to reach 6 AM and complete the night shift, only if you complete the given tasks. Failure to do the task and the power will go out, and it's game over. Again, I don't know if this will actually play out throughout the final version, but it's at least something I can hope to look forward to. Please, Bonzi, I'm begging you to prove me wrong. Also, damn, do the environments look stunningly spoopy. The animatronic designs are also a big upgrade from the original counterparts. All of these animatronics have a creepy doll aesthetic, which is disturbingly cool. And the colors pop too. Definitely something to look forward to in the future. Before going into what the sequel will bring to the table, I want to make my point of view and state that the original Mary's Arcade is one of my new favorite FNAF fan games of all time. With the game being about planning ahead instead of just following an established rhythm, with its ambience being an integral part of this game's gameplay, make this one of the most tense and replayable FNAF fan game in recent memory. So knowing that there's a sequel in the works, you best believe I was hyped as hell that a new FNAF fan game that has luckily received more and more attention over time was enough for the developer to go all out for a sequel. So what will the sequel unpack this time? Well, in contrast to Deerwood, its game draw page doesn't have much, but it does state that this game will be about balancing risk and memorization. From what the trailer provides, we could see that all the mechanics will be definitely changed from the original, with the new setting and brand new sets of animatronic models, albeit the aesthetic remains the same. Can I just say that these toy variations of these guys are probably the most realistic attempt I've ever seen for a toy animatronic group. I could just imagine touching the surface of these guys and knowing exactly what they feel like. I guess I could see why the dev may not have put as much background story for the basic premise for its game draw page, as I don't think the dev seems interested in wanting their followers to be engaged with its story, and as someone that doesn't really follow along with the story in FNAF as a whole, I completely understand. But hey, it doesn't take away from the fact that the game looks promising, and I hope that Let's Players can give this title the respect it deserves when it comes out. Peak news, this is the first multiplayer fan game on this list. The main summary for this game setting is that you, one of the 4 main contestants, have been chosen to compete in the game of cat and mouse. Except you take on both roles. You send your own army of animatronics towards your competitors while defending yourself against the army of theirs as well. And the last man standing is the winner. The gameplay will play a key role of your wits and quick thinking while managing defense and offense against your best friends. The game provides 4 animatronics per team, 4 offices, and 4 players for this game's 20 plus rooms, with upgrading your animatronics capabilities through skill trees along the way. Wow, what a complete stretch from the formula, huh? Not that I mind though. Any sign of multiplayer for a FNAF fan game will always be peak news to me. And I'm sure that goes for you guys as well. This might honestly be the closest we'll get to a FNAF Battle Royale style game. If the official franchise can't seem to be bothered, then so be it. Luminance will fill in that gap for us. All jokes aside, I hope that this idea goes go smoothly, because this has always been one of my most anticipated FNAF fan games of all time. Not only with this presentation, which don't get me wrong, is a plus, but its gameplay format that could potentially reach thousands if not millions of players to get together and have a blast with when it comes out. I bet every single one of y'all saw this one coming. In contrast to the other two games I've talked about, we actually do have a demo. And oh man, is it a good one. Five Nights at Freddy's take notes. Now, having to play the demo myself, I am on board for what the future holds for this game. This game is meant to serve as a reimagining of the official first installment, where it keeps the events from the original franchise, but putting a new grounded twist featuring a new storyline and cast of characters completely different from any of the installments, official or fan-made. The gameplay will be a refreshing take on the classic FNAF formula while being faithful to the original in many aspects. For what we have in the demo, we play a minigame where we try to reach the elusive score of 1983 while shining your flashlight against Bonnie and Chica. Although not much, the amount of content I think was the right amount to have us hyped for the final version, as the minigame is genuinely challenging and the environment is stunning. The animatronic models are some of the best reimagined designs I've ever seen. The material used on these mofos make them feel like something you would see from the retro Chuck E. Cheese aesthetic. I'm so excited for this, y'all. I have a feeling I'll be meat riding this game very hard when the final version comes out, but only time will tell. Yeah, boy! God, has the trailers for this game got me pumped up. I'm hoping this becomes one of, if not the scariest FNAF fan game from this entire list. There's not much information on this game Joel page, which really sucks as always, but man, do the trailers give enough to give an idea for what the game will look like. I do want to mention that this game did have a demo at some point with most of the main FNAF tubers like Dawko, Fusion C Gamer, and etc., all of which originally checked out towards the end of 2021, but was taken out eventually as there was nothing to download. And as someone who didn't check out the original demo when it was initially there, is why there's no footage of my gameplay. Don't know why he decided to take the demo out of the page, but it's his decision, not mine, and the only person who's in control of this project is Kaisen himself. Regardless, I love the presentation here. These Psyomnia animatronics are so rad and are genuinely terrifying. Way more than the nightmares, honestly. I personally don't mind the nightmare animatronics that much. I think they're perfectly fine for what they are, but I do gotta admit that they only look scary when put in the dark. As when put in promotional material, they look infinitely worse when all the light is shined into their models. These models, on the other hand, doesn't have this problem as far as I'm concerned, and instead take a more realistic approach with their distorted proportions, and we're given actual gummy teeth. The centipedes on Psyomnia Freddy in particular are really disturbing, and I'm convinced Kaisen wanted these little guys as Freddy's main selling point for the model, to the point where I'm now going to be dubbing this model Centipede Freddy. Probably my favorite model we've been given so far, and honestly has become one of my favorite Freddys in general, fan game or not, and I might actually like this model more than Wither Freddy. Are you mad about that? Well, deal with it, it's my opinion. Anyways, totally looking forward to this game when it comes out. Oh, baby, we are in fact heading into a direction that was never meant to be seen at all. For the unenlightened, this fan game will take a FNAF world approach on a semi-well-known FNAF SFM series by the Hottest Dog that got 2 movies that was very popular and respected for its time. And although looking back, a lot of this series is a bit outdated for today's standards, it will always hold a special place in my heart for making middle school me and my friends I had back then very happy. So it would be quite an understatement to express how goddamn excited I was when I heard a fan game adaptation was in the works. Now, as of now, we don't actually have enough exposition for what this game will look like yet. We haven't even gotten trailers for it either. It seems like lack of motivation is my best bet here. Not to make Hot Dog Man ashamed though, of course I know how it feels like to be numb when working for a big project. We did get a, okay, April Fool's launch of Obese and Shadow Man's Quest, which by the way is a side series on the Hottest Dogs channel where an alternate version of the special's Chief, who's a complete idiot who got him and Shadow Man banned from Walmart after pissing on the employees of Subway for not giving Obese free cookies. So to bring justice, Obese and Shadow Man bring on an epic quest to steal their precious cookies. Top 10 best anime writing in humanity ever, am I right, fellas? I do hope we get more updates along the way, but for now, I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. A sequel to a beloved fan game that also blew up almost 10 years ago at this point. Wow, I feel old. To serve as a gift towards all the fans of the original game, we have a confirmed sequel in the works, and man, do the trailers look so good. There's no exposition for this game's story either, nor gameplay background, but knowing the success of the original, I do hope we get a follow-up that can either match or top the quality from the first game. Besides, the environments look stunning and definitely a glow up from the original in every aspect. Though I gotta admit, the animatronic designs, although definitely unique, look a bit goofy. Especially you, like Jesus. But hey, maybe the final product could prove me wrong on that department. We'll just have to wait and see. Here's another funny in the table, though this time it is just another FNAF parody. Not to downplay Ryan though, for what it's worth, this fan game does seem to feature a lot of brand new twists, at least mechanics wise. I will say what makes this upcoming FNAF fan game stand out is the Flumpties-esque aesthetic this game is going for, with this game's alternate funny versions of the pre-existing Fazbear gang, with their own original names as well, like Fried Rich, Bernard, Clara, and Felix. Yeah, I don't really have much to say here other than I'm just really looking forward to how this game will come out in the final product. Most importantly in the humor department, I mean, look at this beauty. Our main character, Jerry B. Fitzgerald, is new to the town Naperville, Illinois. In hopes to settle for a job, he was lucky enough to get a job as a security guard at an unknown diner that has gone a terrible reputation after news spread after a group of kids went missing, along with a kid getting their heads crushed by one of the robots. The job may have seemed simple at first, but as time went on, he has felt as something that has been waiting for him at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, this will be another Fredbear's Family Diners fan game. Seriously, we have gotten too many of these lads, and knowing that we haven't gotten a description for what the gameplay will look like doesn't help my overall lack of excitement either. But hey, maybe Uncle Element can prove me wrong in the future as the animatronic designs really look fantastic. We'll just have to wait and see. Oh, here's a FNAF fan game that has been in development for a couple of years now. We do have a demo which has been updated not too long ago, and the gameplay we have gotten in the demo has really given me a lot of hope that the final product comes out phenomenal. Because for what we have so far, there are so many good ideas here. I love that with every night you beat, you'll have a minigame where you can go out and play minigames offered from other characters that you later add during your playthrough, despite earning tickets from their minigame. And what's cool about the tickets is that you could purchase either cool plushies to decorate for your office, or be smart and purchase power-ups to make your night a little bit easier. Not to say the night segments are bad, the nights themselves are honestly pretty damn solid, as they're both simple yet really enjoyable, and it actually builds tension very well. I'm so excited for this game, y'all, and I hope that all the time that these devs have put will all be worth it in the end. After the hospital massacre in 1973, you wake up a year later in an abandoned hospital without any memories and begin a quest to gain your memories while also coping for the massacre and how you got here in the first place. The gameplay will follow a classic office and cameras format. However, in between hours, you can leave the office and explore the hospital at your leisure. Like with Melodies, the game will also have chapters. However, unlike that game, we do have a demo available that my god-awful computer will not let me download. I need a life. But that's okay, because the trailers we have been given so far has me hyped up. It's really cool to see a fan game take place in a hospital instead of the usual pizzeria setting we've come to know in many of these projects. The animatronic designs are also horrifying as hell, with the cast of characters being really creative. Like an elephant, a lion, even a turtle. I really hope the final product will come out fantastic because there's so much potential here. Final goofy fan game on this list, I promise. So it seems like we finally got someone who will actually recreate the entirety of the one spin-off Scott had first wanted to abandon until recently. And surprise twist, this game will also have chapters. Only 2 for now. Here's a secret confession I have for y'all. I secretly love FNAF World so much. Yeah, I know it's not the most stable game in the world, and I can acknowledge it's absolutely stupid, but it's so charming in ways that Security Breach just simply isn't. But I understand why Scott himself didn't value the game for a long time, and I respect his decision for taking it down off Steam. And hey, despite the flaws of the game I have, I'm very glad that this game convinced people to go off and make their own RPG style game for FNAF. My only concern with this reimagining is that Scott has announced that he was going to bring back FNAF World in some way, which could demotivate the entire development team to progress any further. Fingers crossed to not let that type of loss happen. And the final game listed for this video is a remastered of a semi-well-known FNAF fan game that kickstarted the depressing year that was 2020. I say semi because I don't really hear people talk about this game very much, which really sucks because although the game may not have aged the best, it's still an important piece of fan media that I still care about to this day. But that said, I played the original and I could see why this game is getting a remake. It's not bad at all. I would go as far as to say that the game is actually fairly creative. It has lots of ideas going for, as it does a really good job at building tension and keeping you at the edge of your seat. But the game only contains 4 minigames, all of which you can beat pretty quickly if you know what you're doing, kind of like an SL. And on top of that, this game doesn't really offer you any secret endings for you to get. But hey, I'm sure those criticisms I just outlined are on par with Vitch as well because, well, we're getting a remaster, and for what he has outlined on his game jolt page, he is looking forward to expand on the original concepts he imported to the original and actually strengthen those concepts up to 12. At least I hope so anyway. And I also hope that the remaster will include secret endings to unlock to add to the replayability. Maybe unlocking minigames that could take the Blood and Gears route where you would get past a certain score and you get one of the endings. Definitely will be looking forward to this game when it comes out. God damn, that was a lot to go through. Now, I know some of you might be wondering why none of the Fanverse games are included, and that's because I solely wanted this list to solely focus on the fan games on Game Jolt, not as a whole. However, know that I am looking forward to those games as well. Pray to God that none of these games I've listed get canceled, because this video will age poorly otherwise. But only time will tell, right? Anyways, I love you guys consensually, and until the next video, peace!